Hello everyone, welcome back to another league racing video with me, James, of course. Back in the TRL Championship, this time at Imola for two 40-minute sprints in, of course, Mintley, the most beautiful GT3 on the grid, I'm sure you'll agree. Anyway, on our quali lap then, our best quali lap for this first sprint race at Imola. Certainly one of my favourite tracks. This is a grueling, technical, fast-flowing track in Italy, and I absolutely love it. Coming up into the second chicane, if I can get my words out, into Tossa, brilliant named corner here, the hairpin of Tossa. You can see we're a fraction up on our best time of a 42.0. The car felt really good here actually. I think this track really suits the front engine cars, so the Mercedes, the Lexus, the Bentley, so the Ferraris and Maccas and stuff were struggling for this round, but not us. So into the dip and powering out, almost invalidated there. We can see how much we're pushing the limits. Tyre pressures are decent, a little bit high if anything on the front, but it was quite hot. Taking loads of curve through Variante Alta chicane, and we see we've gained lots of time. We're 2/10 up on the 42.0, so we're definitely into a 41 if we can hook up this final sector. These last two 90-degree left corners, tricky braking zone, downhill. We need to use a little bit of the inside curve to pivot the car around. We've done that well, and using again more curve, and yeah, it's a pretty good exit. And now it's just the run to the line. We've lost maybe half a tenth there, so we're a tenth and a half up. But if we hug it to the wall, this should be a 41, and it is just a 41, 141.9. So yeah, decent lap there. And in the end, it put us P2, 2/10 behind JDM. And yeah, we're just waiting for Mr. Marmolotto, our Italian friend in the Lexus, to set his time. Can he beat us? And can he beat JDM, who's on pole by 2.5 tenths to me with a 41.7? Let's see what he does. It's a bit of a scruffy chicane for him, but he's going to come across the line now and just pip us to second place here, a tenth and a bit behind JDM. So a third, good chunk away from the other guys. So it does look like it's going to be a 3-horse race unless Luke can get involved in the McLaren. But starting the race now, we're definitely going to try and win this one, turn 1 of course. Big sense, just lining up, trying to keep the speed nice and low to keep within that thing, accelerating up to 43 miles an hour. And the lights will go green in a second and we will be racing. And the lights go green now, green, green, green. And he got a decent getaway. Marma covers the inside, which is fair enough. So I'm not going to be able to go inside there, but I have a good run. I'm going to look to the outside. I thought better of it on the first lap. It's a bit risky to go for an outside move through there. It's always sort of going to get squeezed out anyway. So we're just sitting behind Marma. Tyres will be cold, so there's always a few mistakes at the first lap from opponents potentially, and us. But hopefully we won't be one of the people making mistakes. JDM, you can see already a second and a half from me up the road, so he has got a really good getaway. And that Merc was incredibly quick for these races. So let's hope that we can still stay in touch. You can see 1.7 now ahead into the fast left, one of my favourite corners on the track. Very easy to invalidate your lap time on the exit there, but we just managed to keep it within track limits and avoid a warning. 3 warnings. And then when you get your 4th one, it is a drive-through, so we don't want that. Kaiser sticking behind, also in the Lexus, 0.7 behind, but hopefully the top 3, me, Mama and JDM, can drop Kaiser and John and Luke behind. See, not a good chicane there. We lost loads of time to the front 2 guys. JDM is now 2.3 seconds ahead, with Marma now almost a second, so unless some big mistakes happen, we're going to have to push like crazy. But the car's feeling good underneath me. I felt confident. My quality time was pretty good. There was probably a tenth or 2 in it, so maybe if I really hooked it up, got pole, but I think that was pretty unlikely. So still time to find, but our race pace hopefully will match the top 2 here. You can see we've lost a little bit down the straight to Marma. That Lexus is ridiculously quick in a straight line. Just seems to kick into whatever the equivalent of VTEC for Lexus is. V8 twin turbo power, I guess. Yeah, you can see we've dropped Kaiser a little bit, 1.3 seconds behind. He is an AM as well, so we don't have to worry too much about him. He seemed fairly quick this time out, but yeah, we're going to focus on the 2 in front. Into Tosser, nice late apex, getting on the power nice and early. TC kicking in there a tiny bit, but not affecting us at all there. You can see a few laps in, 5 laps in, about 10 minutes into the race. We've caught massively up to Marma. He made a few mistakes, and you can see I had a good exit on the Variante outer chicane there. Excuse my awful Italian pronunciation, any Italian watchers. But we're going down into the penultimate corner here. You can see we have got a chance, if we want to go for an overtake. The only problem is, whenever I was quicker into the corners, Marma was quicker on the straights. That Lexus pulling away with its V8 power, and we couldn't really get close. You can see I've done a 42.3 there, he did a 43.4, so he had a bad lap, and you can see just nowhere on the straight compared to him. He goes deep, has a big sideways moment into the first corner, managed to gather it up and doesn't lose too much time. We definitely have gained slightly. We don't have to worry behind now because Kaiser is 6 seconds back almost, so we don't have to worry. We can go full attack, strap 2 straight towards Marma, and we'll go big send at turn 1 when we get the opportunity. Braking just before the start of the curve, then you can see he's wide again. He has to cut, and that is definitely going to cost him some time. Whether he gave up the time that he cut the corner, let me guys know, but yeah, I was flashing my lights there just to sort of let him know he cut, and potentially could have gained an advantage, but I think he gave it back, so that was good racing for him. But we want to try and capitalise on those mistakes a bit more, so if we could just get closer to him when he goes deep, apply just a little bit of pressure when we're right tucked up behind him, getting his mirrors a bit, show our pace as well through lap time, because every time we cross the line the lap time is sharp on the MFD at the bottom left there, and so hopefully we can show him our pace and yes, go for a move potentially here. 8 laps in, 26 minutes to go, and you can see we get really close on the brakes, but we're just a little bit too late on the brakes. You see a short shift into 3rd to make the next apex, and that's cost us quite a bit of time, so we're now 1 second back from after that bit mistake, but both making sort of small errors. JGM is driving flawlessly. He's 8 and a bit seconds up the road, so it looks like he's going to be untouchable for this race at least. But yeah, we're just going to try and keep on Marma. Kaiser actually hasn't dropped back too bad, but by the time 23 minutes to go, he is 8 seconds behind. Another mistake there from Marma. He drifts wide at the penultimate corner, going into the gravel, so he should have some dirty tyres coming into turn 1, which is what I was hoping. I'm 2 tenths up on my best lap here, hopefully going for another move into turn 1, but you can just see I'm not really making any sort of impression on the Lexus. So Axel comes out of pit lane, we avoid him nicely, gaining on the brakes again, hooking up the apex nicely, but there's just nothing I can really do against that Lexus power. The Bentley with its massive table of a rear wing, providing lots and lots downforce for us in the corners, it's sort of hurting us on the straights. I think I'm running fairly high wing for the Bentley for this track, just so I can capitalise in the corners and make sure the car is stable. Marma goes into pit lane then, so that sort of frees us. We weren't really getting held up, but if we can just unleash some pace for these 3-4 laps that we'll be doing before we pit now, that would be really nice. We can try and get a jump on it. You can see the pit board was actually knocked over by someone previously, so that was really quite annoying, so I couldn't actually see the line, but we didn't in speed, which is good, and thanks to editing, a nice quick pit stop. And hopefully we can try and jump Marma He is 14 seconds behind in closing. He is just coming onto the straight now. If you see on the mini map at the top left, he's car number 4. We are leaving pit lane now. He is about to cross the line. Can we jump him? And it looks like we have. Strategy to perfection. The Italian has used the Ferrari strategy, and well, we know how that goes. It never works. He's probably put on hard tyres or something, or wets even, because there's only 2 compounds in ACC, dry and wet. So he's probably on wet tyres if he's done the Ferrari strategy. But despite that, he has lost time to me, and we are granted into 2nd place provisionally. So JGM has done his pit stop in 2nd. There was, I believe it might be Luke, who's the only one to have not pitted, but I'm not sure on that. But by the time everyone pits and it's the end of the race, we're going to bring home a 2nd place. We had a 2.1 second gap to Marma. We kept it. JGM was 18 seconds ahead. He was untouchable, insane pace. He was doing quality laps for 23 laps, insane pace. But we, thanks to a good pit stop and some good strategy, managed to jump Marma and get ourselves a nice P2. So that's some good championship points there. 16 points we get for 2nd place, 20 points for a win in a sprint. So yeah, some good points on in the championship that should help us certainly get into the top 3 or so. But yeah, into qualifying 2, and we're going to see if we can go one better than 3rd and try and get 2nd or 1st. Of course, we always want to try and get pole. Axel here in front makes a mistake, stays on the grass and doesn't validate my lap, thankfully. Doesn't get in my way. I might have been slightly distracted by that, and therefore lost a bit of time into the chicane, into the Variante outer chicane, taking loads of curve. I mean, the car didn't even bottom out there. It's insane how much curve you can take with this car, especially compared to like McLarens and Ferraris, the ones that run slightly lower than this thing. It is mental. It is a literal boat over that chicane, so pretty insane. I can take loads and loads of speed. But yeah, it's a pretty good lap. 3/10 up on a 42.3 here, so again we're just about to break the 41 barrier. Let's see what we do. It is just a 42.009, and that ended up being my best lap, and that again unfortunately put us 3rd. We were a little bit further off that time, 7/10 away. I think it was slightly hotter and the car did not like the hot temperatures, but still we're in a good place to capitalise, and we're going to go green here for the 2nd race. Another 40-minute sprint here with a mandatory pit stop for tyres. You can see Luke actually gets alongside me, gets a good start in the Mecca. I'm not going to squeeze him. I'm going to be nice and sensible, but I'm not going to give any room there. He has to back out of that one. That is my apex, thank you very much. And we hold on to 3rd place. So hopefully we can just run away from the guys behind again. That's always nice, and attack the top 2 again. So hopefully we can gain some more positions. But I don't know whether the track was hotter, or I don't know, I just didn't really quite get into a rhythm. The car didn't feel quite as good. I don't know. These are all the racing driver excuses coming out now. Loads of understeer, lots of oversteer, but I can't really blame the car. I think I just was a bit slower. I think everyone was slightly slower. JDM, I think he struggles here in the first couple of laps, as you're about to see. Mom ends up having a good few first laps, but yeah, I don't know, just wasn't quite as quick as in the first race. But still, we could try and get some good championship points out of this, being in the top 3. It's always nice to be in the top 3 and getting a podium each time. Yeah, out of Variante outer, you can see I'm 7/10 behind Marma, 2nd and a bit behind JDM. And you can see Marma almost sends it there, half hard move into the penultimate corner. You can see JDM is already really on the back foot, really hasn't got the tyres maybe up to temperature into their PSI windows. Ideal is about 27.7 all round, so yeah, mine are getting up to temperature there. They're about 27.3 at the minute, but by the end of the 2nd lap they should be around the correct PSI. But yeah, you can see Marma has loads of pace on this opening 2 laps here. Seems to be all over the gearbox of JDM right up his bumper. You can see JDM is actually half-heartedly defending into the second chicane, but no move there for Marma yet. Will he send it into Tosser? No, has to think better of it. JDM defends the inside, parks the apex, parks the bus. Marma tries to hang it round the outside. JDM gives him the room. It's great racing. I'm just a spectator. I've got a front row seat with my popcorn here, but there's nothing really I can do to capitalise. It's quite a narrow circuit. I don't want to be stupid and send a massive lunge on anyone and cause accidents. That would get me penalty points, and we don't want any race bans or quali bans. So yeah, you can see I'm going massively into the dipper here, and yeah, on exit not quite as good. Took lots of entry speed in, but not so much exit. You see, not having too much pressure from behind from Luke. He's almost 2 seconds back already. Just can't quite take the curves that we can in the Merc, the Lexus and the Bentley. You can see Marma going for it again, looking for a move up the inside, but it's not going to quite happen for him. Just doesn't seem to be quite getting enough straight line speed, even with that Lexus top speed, which is so good. He just can't seem to quite get the overlap on him and go for a move. But I'm sure he's going to be patient. They've both got very good racecraft, so there shouldn't be any accidents, and he's going to take his time and plan the move accordingly. But as you can see, 20 minutes or so into the race, and well, I couldn't really make much of an impression on them. JDM stays out. Marmotto goes into the pit lane at the halfway point. I've still got 5 laps. I'm going for about the 15-minute mark or so, maybe slightly later than that, just because the tyre wear felt fine to me, and also with the Bentley, it feels like a diesel on fuel consumption. It's ridiculous on fuel consumption compared to other cars, especially that Lexus. It guzzles fuel. But anyway, JDM into the pit lane. We take the provisional lead. Of course, when we pit, that will not stand. You can see we lap Luke there. He's had a torrid race. He's in 7th place. Not done well, made a few mistakes, and maybe been in a few incidents. But that doesn't really matter. He's not in contention. We are. We're in the lead provisionally, but we still have a pit stop to make. So let's see where we come out. We go for our mandatory pit stop. Stop on the line much better there because the pit board was still there, so I could actually see where the line was. Always handy. Going into pit lane, then want to try and stop on our marks, about 2 arrows up from the board. You can see I stopped a bit short there, and then we get it in and we're straight up onto the jacks. A bit more magic editing there, and the pit stop is done in a flash. I'm telling you, that 30 seconds feels like an age. But you can see Marmolotto only 7 seconds behind, and I'm trundling out the pit lane at 31 miles an hour. We're not going to be able to get an overlap on him this time. The strategy hasn't quite worked. He hasn't done a Ferrari strategy blunder this time, so we can't quite capitalise, unfortunately. But it's still going to be good at the 3rd position here, if we could just hold on for another 9 more minutes, keep the consistency up, keep the lap times going. You can see my best is a 42.0, so I mean I'm very nearly matching my quali pace. So yeah, and that was the end of the race. So a 2nd position and a 3rd position for this round. Pretty good points in the championship, and that should hopefully put us in contention for the next race, which is at Kailami. More sprints at Kailami, a track I absolutely adore. Yeah, congrats to JDM and Marma for P1 and P2 in front of me. They drove very well. I thought honestly at the start Marma was going to get him, but he couldn't quite get it. But yeah, if you have enjoyed that video, guys, just give me a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Comment what you thought. Any video suggestions is always welcome. Got loads more league race videos coming up of the season I'm doing currently as well, because I'm massively behind on editing videos. But yeah, that is it from me, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, everyone. And I'll see you for the next league racing video. See you all next time. Goodbye.